Hey guys, welcome back to the next episode here on Sports Talk with Hawk. Today, we do the safeties and the receivers in my draft rankings. Welcome in. Hopefully the week is going well for you up to this point. Let's check out some players for the 2025 draft. Here we go. All right, guys, here we go. The safeties and receivers in the NFL draft. My top 5 at both positions. I got a little rambunctious and wanted to try to do 3 position groups at a time. That clearly will not work. I talk too much. That's what I do. So we're going to do the safeties and receivers. The previous one was quarterbacks and corners. So make sure to go back and watch that. I'll link that at the end of this podcast. But the safeties this year, we have a lot of guys that I believe are going to be starting safeties in the NFL. And why is that? Because I think safety is one of those positions right now that you're moving away from your traditional free safety setup and moving more to where these safeties have to be able to man up in certain situations. There is a lot more zero blitz that goes on. You do play a lot of cover 2 man, but you have to be able to truly pay attention. There was a time where you had what was your free safety, and that was basically your cover 1 safety. You played cover 1 behind your 34. You played cover 1 behind your zone blitz. You played cover 1 a lot, so that guy was just basically 25 yards downfield all the time. That's not the case anymore. You have to be able to really dissect what's happening in a play, and you are the thing that offensive playmakers are going after. They're trying to figure out how to get the safety to move so they can get somebody else open. So these safeties this year, I do believe there are quite a few that will be starting, maybe not game 1, but by Thanksgiving. And I do like the top 5, and I'm going to be honest. I like the size of some of these guys. Being a safety, I like the size of some of these guys. I like the way they play. And here we go. So my number 1 safety, hands down, is the safety from South Carolina, Nick Emmanwori, 6'3". Ran a 4.38, so honestly, you can't fake that too easily. He's big, he's fast, he's 227 pounds. To me, he is a Sean Taylor type of safety. To me, he runs a lot like Brian Dawkins. I believe he is a immediate plug and play starting safety in the NFL. When you watch him play, it's the creativity that South Carolina was able to use with him. The safety blitzes, the corners, the dropouts go into zones. He runs a lot of flat zone. He plays within the system you ask him to. And that's all you can really ask of any player. So when they do that at the college level, you can feel really assured that at the pro level, they're going to do the same thing. As a defensive coach or coordinator, all you want your guys to do is play within the system. If the system fails, that's not on the players. I said last year, the Jacksonville Jaguars' offensive system sucked. The system failed them. Their defensive system sucked. The system failed them. The players played hard, but the system set them up to fail. Emmanwori is going to play in whatever system you ask him to, and he will excel being a box safety, a deep safety. He'll excel at being a man safety. I love Nick Emanwari. His size to me really, really helps. If he stays healthy, he is the safety you're going to have on Sundays. Jim Nance and Joe Buck are going to be talking about this guy can cover your tight end. He will take Kelsey on. He will take George Kittle on. He doesn't get shoved or pushed around. I love Nick. I think he is a top 15 pick easily. Yes, I said top 15 easily. I believe there's a lot of teams that could really, really benefit from putting a guy like him on the back end of your secondary. I think there's a lot of teams that could benefit from him. His best spot right now, San Francisco lost to Funga. Robert Saleh with Nick Emanwari, really, really good. Another team potentially that you could see kind of sneak in there, really look out for what they're going to do defensively in Carolina. They got J.C. Horn. They locked him up. Look for Carolina. Nobody knows what the Panthers are really going to do because they still have plenty of holes to fill everywhere. Nick Emanwari, J.C. Horn, you start building a pretty solid secondary that way. So look out for Carolina potentially as well. And do I think it'd be a bad fit? No, there's just Carolina's got so many holes. They were the worst defense last year. They could pick anybody and they need them, unfortunately. All right, the second safety for me, I like Xavier Watts better than Malachi Starks. I know Malachi Starks prototypically right now is ranked as the second. Some have him as the first. I've got him as the third. I think Xavier Watts is an immediate NFL prospect to start. Played in NFL defense at Notre Dame. Got really good coaching at Notre Dame. And I believe, hands down, this guy is going to get drafted probably by the Bengals. I think they draft Xavier Watts because of Al Golden. I really do. I think he translates well. He's 6 foot, 205 pounds. Didn't run the fastest 40 time, but that doesn't matter as much as a safety. I believe he plays the position the way you need to play it. He's a more prototypical safety. He reminds me a lot more of Justin Reed. Reminds me a lot of Jesse Bates. And Bates has, been around for a while, and he's having a lot of success even later in his career. I like Xavier Watts. I think his skill set and the coaching he received at Notre Dame, I think there's a lot to still build on. There's a lot more potential, I believe, with him than there is Starks. Now, since I've been talking so much about him, Starks is my third. 6'1", 205 pounds, ran a 4.50. Here's my issue. Here's my issue with Starks. I don't know if he's going to be great against the pass. I don't know if he's going to be great against the pass. In a league where you need a guy to be able to cover, I think Malachi has one more flaw than Xavier, and that's he doesn't have the same coverage instincts that Xavier does. He hasn't been coached the same as Xavier has. So can Starks play man-on-man coverage and not get his feet turned because he struggles with man. He plays zone okay, but he struggles in man. This is where I think Emanwari and Watts are definitely better than Starks is. Man-to-man, I think they are much better. Zone, Starks uses his instincts, which are really good. His instincts are probably a little bit better than Watts in zone. But that's where I don't know if he's going to have a lot of different options. Being a safety, you're looking at potentially the end of the first round, beginning of the second round, probably for the third pick or second pick safety, whatever it may be. But I think Buffalo works for Malachi. And here's why. I believe Buffalo will probably go corner. Probably. But they need another safety to be able to play the back end. And Starks is better in zone. I think Buffalo would be a really good fit for Malachi Starks. I think that'd be a great pick for Buffalo. I think it would really improve the back end of the defense, but you won't be able to play man. You're going to be playing a lot of your two deep zone, or he's going to be that typical cover one safety. You're going to play him as the guy deep consistently. Starks is not a bad player. He's a good prospect, but I think his glaring issues are more than Eamon Worry and Xavier Watts. His toughness in the run game is undeniable, but you got to be able to cover now in the passing league. In a league where they throw the ball, you got to be able to cover the pass. That's as simple as I can put it. There's really nothing else. All right, so my fourth safety for me is he's definitely shorter, but I think the smarts come with this. I love Sebastian Castro from Iowa. He's 5'11". He doesn't run a really good 40, but he's a smart player. What have we seen in the NFL consistently through the years? Smart players last. Troy Polamalu wasn't necessarily, I mean, he went to USC, so he got visibility. If he went anywhere else, would he have gotten it? Troy Polamalu beat everybody with being smart. Being smart can still beat players in the NFL. Being smart can still beat teams in the NFL if you're just smart. And the one thing about Castro, and you hear this a lot with him, he doesn't have the size, but he's a guy you want being that deep safety because he doesn't get beat often. What he shows, simply, and what I love about Castro when you watched Iowa games, he played in Iowa. He's played against some big guys. He's played against Michigan, Ohio State. He's played now against USC. He's, Penn State. The thing you will notice about him, he's not really ever in the wrong place. And that, to me, is vital. In the NFL, can you be in the correct place? And it's not that you made a pass deflection, not that you got an interception. He's in the right place for the tackle. He's in the right place to make sure they don't get past him. That's important. I like him as the fourth best safety. I think being smart and having just kind of that guy that's he's just there. You don't know how necessarily because he's not overly tall, but he's too smart to just be beaten all the time. He's in the right place when you need him to be there. Really good tackler. And I think he is a great day 2 pick. He may fall to the 3rd round. That's definitely a potential. I could easily see the Chiefs picking him up. I could easily see the Seahawks picking him up. Maybe even the Raiders. I believe he translates to almost any team right now in the NFL because of how well coached he is there at Iowa. Iowa players have always been really well coached. Kirk Ferentz has built one of the best programs in the country. They may not win everything, but when you get a player from Iowa, it's the same thing as when Mark Richt was at Georgia. Kirk Ferentz has done the same thing in Iowa. You know you're getting a player. He's a man. He's going to play hard, and most of them are really, really smart. I love Sebastian Castro at 4. He's my 4th best safety. My 5th best safety, there's going to be a lot of argument about this, but as I'm watching film and watching some games, I like Lathan Ransom, the safety from Ohio State. 6'1", 210 pounds, ran a 4.53. But he has a downfall. He is absolutely a box safety. His run stopping ability, he reminds me more of a Bob Sanders. Reminds me a lot of a Troy Polamalu because he was in the box a lot. I believe he's that type of safety, which means he fits a 34 defense that likes playing a lot of zone blitz, that likes bringing different types of pressure. He fits a team that does that much better than your prototypical cover 2 defense. So for me, Lathan Ransom is the 5th best safety. Uh, Makuba, Kevin Winston Jr. from Penn State, they're right behind. But when I watch, I think his tackling ability, the way he sniffs the ball out against the run, I believe will be vital. I think he's that safety that could get the interception on screenplays if he's paying, when he's the one that's got the running back out of the backfield. This is that guy that I think breaks up screenplays. He busts up flat plays. This is the guy that I think comes up and stops the bubble screens to the wide receiver. I like Ransom in that aspect. He does have a flaw. If you put him in a cover 2 defense, I don't like him nearly as much. He is a guy that is much better down the line. Bob Sanders was the same way. Okay, Troy Polamalu not so much. He played deep safety pretty well. But there are a lot of safeties that are normally one or the other. And his ability to stop the run, his tackling, is hands down the reason I put him at 5. You have to tackle in the NFL. If you miss tackles consistently, you won't last. You can't last. You have to be able to tackle one-on-one. And I believe Ransom, sitting in the late 2nd, 3rd round, will get drafted to a team. I love him if he came to the Colts. Lou is going to be using a lot more box setups. He'd be great with the Colts. He'd absolutely work with the Patriots. Undoubtedly would work if the Texans were to draft him. I think the Broncos, you put him next to Hufanga, that could be a really lethal. Like, there are some teams that could really work. You just don't want, he's not your prototypical deep safety. That would be putting him in a bad spot, his weakest spot, and that would not be smart. So number 1 safety for me is Eamon Worry. Love him. Number 2 for me is Xavier Watts. Number 3, Malachi Starks. Sebastian Castro from Iowa is 4. And for me, Lathan Ransom is 5. I like Andrew Makuba. I like Kevin Winston Jr. But to me, they're just behind because I think Makuba likes to try to spear too much, and he's going to miss tackles. Kevin Winston, he's tall, but he gets turned around. He doesn't move as well, so I think he's got to work on his shiftiness. He seems a little bit too stiff when he's playing. But you're splitting hairs with these guys. For me, I like Ransom because of the tackling. Straight up because of the tackling. All right, so here we go. A little bit better. So we're going to have to rush through. So wide receivers. I am not going to put Travis Hunter in both categories. Travis Hunter to me is going to be he'll be the toy to play with, okay? He will be the toy to play with. If he goes to New England, Josh McDaniels will give him 10 to 15 offensive plays, bubble screens, reverses. They will give him those types of plays. He is not a wide receiver 1 in the NFL to me, but as a slot guy, sure, I love him. So he is not going in my wide receiver rankings because that's not going to be what his position is, I believe. The position we're starting with, this guy really hurt himself. So T-Mac, McMillan, the 6'5", 212 receiver from Arizona, unfortunately, and you've heard it a lot at the league meetings, I think he really hurt his draft stock. You say you never watched film. It's one of the dumbest things you can say. Saying you don't enjoy watching film, one of the dumbest things you can say. And I've heard both sides of it. They're like, these guys are college guys. They're going back to their dorms. They're playing PlayStation instead. Okay. If you were to answer the question about film and you answer it this way, yes, every day I try to watch 30 minutes to an hour of film on the team that we're playing this week or the following week, getting an idea of what they would want to do to me as the receiver and how they want to cover me. I would accept that answer. Then go play PlayStation for 5 hours. Fine. But when you say you don't watch it, In the NFL, film is your only thing. Film is your scout. If you don't love watching it, you're not going to be very good. He has outrageous talent. Outrageous talent. He's got the size, the hands. He runs a really good route tree. But are you going to know how to beat the guy that's across the line from you? That's the important thing. Can you beat your guy? Did you study your guy enough to know that if you dip the shoulder in, he's going to bite and you can double move around him? Are you going to know that if you dip the shoulder out, he's going to turn his hips and run, and then you can dip back in and run an in route? He hurt his draft stock, but I still believe he's the number one receiver. Purely because he's 6'5" with big hands, runs a great route tree. And if he goes to the right team, I think they'll absolutely coach him up. I don't think the Raiders will. And potentially the Raiders are going to go Gentry in the first round. But let's say Gentry isn't there somehow. I think McMillan really works in with the Raiders. I think Chip Kelly would get what you need out of McMillan. I think if you go down a little bit, Seattle's got an interesting wide receiver room situation, but I think he really does work in Seattle. I think he works in Arizona. They're still trying to get everything, but if you put Harrison and McMillan, I think McMillan gives Harrison the opportunity to actually be better. So there are a couple teams where I believe he would fit and immediately make them better. And I know the coaching is going to matter. He's got to watch film. You've got to love football. It's the biggest knock now against Trevor Lawrence is, whether he loves it now or not, was that he didn't really love football. He was, constantly. I don't get hung up on that stuff as much as everybody else does as far as, is this what you all, the only thing you want to do? Football ends. We've seen careers ended. We've seen guys now with multiple concussions. Their career is going to get cut short. The NFL will eventually step in and careers will be cut short because they're like, no. ACL injuries consistently. Just you can't do it all the time. You're done. Football isn't forever. So I will never, ever punish somebody for saying, I'm looking at this and I love being able to play football, but I'm aware or conscious of what's going to be coming afterwards. Puka Nacua said he wants to retire at 30 because there's a lot of life left. I would agree. It's exactly what I would do. I have no issue with any of that. So to me, McMillan is number one. Number two, I like Luther Burden III better than most people do, because I believe he's going to be a wide receiver too. I don't think he's a number one. I think he is the wide receiver two that runs the deep route. Jamison Williams for the Detroit Lions has become an amazing number two receiver because they have Amon-Ra St. Brown. I believe Luther Burden has the exact same potential. He is that number two guy. He is the Jordan Addison, the Jamison Williams. He is the T. Higgins. He will run everything. He will run the route. He's fast. Deep routes. He'll be there. That is exactly who he is. But I don't think he's number one. He's 5'11". The size is going to concern a lot of people. But I think he's going to be your complement guy. Now, who do you run with, though? Like, who do you run him with? I think the Rams. There's a lot of teams that could use him. I think the Rams, they got Devontae Adams, they got Puka. When Devontae retires, I think Burden could run slot for a while and then easily move forward. Now, do I think he's going to get drafted by them? I doubt it. I think he's probably an early second-round pick. So he could end up going to the Raiders with Jacoby Myers. He could end up going to the Jaguars, which would be great, across from Brian Thomas Jr. But Burden to me is the second one. I like Ibuka, and I know there's Texas fans that are wondering where Matthew Golden is. He's fourth. I like Emeka Ibuka because of the coaching he received, what he's done in his career. I like him better as a prospect to just be that guy. Just be the player you need him to be. 6'1", ran a 4.4, 205 pounds, solid hands. He's great. He's got great straight speed. He's not really quick when it comes to the turns. He's slow out of some of his cuts. He will need to get some coaching on how to be sharper in the NFL. Absolutely, absolutely. But I like Ibuka. I really do. I really like Emeka Ibuka, and he's my third receiver there out of Ohio State. Now, number 4 is Matthew Golden. Why? I don't know what Golden's really going to be in the NFL. Most have said he's going to be a deep threat. Okay, I'm not sure if that's really the case. I think he is a Marvin Harrison type receiver. Steve Smith type receiver. Can he have success like them? Yes. Will it take somebody looking at him and going, if you're going to be that guy, you need to start actually getting technical with how you run routes? He runs lazy routes sometimes, and it's more often than not. And I hate lazy route runners because that's how you beat teams. You beat teams with being purposeful with your routes. That's how you do it. You've got to beat your teams with being purposeful with your routes. Golden, to me, isn't purposeful enough in what he does. As simple as it gets. So I've got Golden as 4th. Now, 5th for me, this is all basically it's a toss-up after this, but I like Trey Harris from Ole Miss. He could absolutely grow into a number 1 receiver. He's 6'3", 210 pounds, ran a 4.5. He's got the potential, or he could easily be a bust. I'm not going to lie. I see bust potential as well, but I think he can grow into your number 1 receiver. I think he can have a really solid. He runs a decent route. He ran a lot of fly routes. If he can really catch that in route, the comeback route, if he can get those 2 routes down, I believe he is a true threat. I think the Giants should draft Harris to go opposite of Malik Neighbors. They'd have a 2 wide receiver setup then that will help whoever the future quarterback is in 2026. They'll help Russell Wilson a little bit, but mostly you're looking now at 2026. So those are the top 5 for me. T-Mac from Arizona is number 1. Burden's number 2. Ibuka is number 3. Then you got Golden number 4, and I like Trey Harris as my 5th best wide receiver in the upcoming draft. So there is that, guys. There is that. All right. That is going to be it for this. The next one we're going to do is we're going to do running backs and linebackers. And linebackers, we're not going to split them up. We're going to do across the board. We're going to do middle linebacker, outside linebacker, just linebackers in general. So that will be the next one. So we will do running backs and linebacker in the next one. Hopefully you guys are having a great day. Have a fantastic night and make it the best day you can tomorrow. Make sure to subscribe, like the podcast. As always, I deeply appreciate each and every one of you. Have a fantastic rest of your evening. Until the next one, for Sports Talk with Hawk, I'm Hawk, and I'm out. We'll see you on the next one.